does everybody here know how to help their folks register in GeoStellar and solar site design and all that? It's pretty laid back and easy, but I was just curious if when you get folks in, if you know how to do that.
Yeah.
Okay, and Karen, you do too, and I know Jeremy does. I'm not sure if Susan does, but
yeah, I'm good.
okay, all right. Well, that's good, because I was going to say I can go over some stuff if you need. I really didn't have anything scheduled for tonight per se as a format like I normally do. I had a buddy that was in a extremely close friend that was in the hospital this weekend, and I took him up there Friday and Saturday. He probably got released Saturday. I almost went back Monday again. He's a buddy of mine that had a kidney and liver transplant, and he was having a lot of problems. So,
Oh wow!
So
Wow.
I've been helping him run his business this week, and plus doing all this, plus trying to get proposals in that I've got and some other stuff. But I just wanted to reach out. Do y'all have any pressing questions right now that you might have that we can take a look at maybe, or answer them and stuff like this, since we're limited on time tonight?
I have a little one, but if anybody has any kind of question, please go for that.
Shoot, go ahead, Karen.
Well, so I was over at somebody's house the other day, and they were pretty knowledgeable already, and they raised the issue that in our area for net metering, they said they knew certain utilities only give you a full return from your extra power at the peak times of the day. And when I went online, I couldn't see any evidence of that. I will call the company tomorrow. Have you ever heard that they only give credit to you if it's during the peak time? Is that what the bottom line is? Is that something we should be concerned about at all?
I don't think so, because dealing with net metering, it's hard to say dealing with that along the lines, because if they're in net metering, that means any extra power you have goes back. You should get credit for it. It shouldn't be whether it's peak times or not.
All right. Well, that's what he was saying exactly.
Right.
Is he doesn't just meter regardless. It meters different according to what time of day it was. If you've never heard of that, then I can't imagine how it could ever matter.
Well, I've heard something along that lines of, and it had to do with, what is it? More so dealing with, I think, dealing with batteries and stuff like that. But I have heard something about that. But as far as I know with net metering, is if the company does that, I mean, the credit that they're going to give you, the power that's going to them, they have to credit you for it if you're in net metering. Now, the price-wise, like you mentioned, they might give you a little more during the peak hours, but they're still got to give you credit for the times, as far as I know, dealing with the net metering, the extra power that you're putting in, whether it's peak or not.
Okay, well, just if that's an issue in my area of Texas, then I would want to know when I talk to people for certain times of day if they're not getting full credit. I would want to know that before I start a conversation. That's all.
Yeah, exactly. Because some people that are knowledgeable, like you, and you will run across some of them that like that, Karen, that they do know stuff like this. They do understand things along that lines. There's some people who know everything about solar, and the best way to deal with them is not to be offensive to them.
Of course, but yeah.
Right. Like say if you're doing a show and you get a guy comes up and says, well, I don't like the Q-cell blacks, I like the highways and, or I like and this and that and stuff like that. And one thing I pointed out to Jeremy when him and I were talking one time, I said, best way to deal with that is like, I'm not sure. I really don't know, but hey, why don't you explain it to me, what the difference is?
Yeah.
And then when they get done explaining it all to you, turn around and ask them, well, how are they working on your home? Do you like them?
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Well, so this actually came up at dinner at someone's house. Someone that's one person is joining the business. Another person was sitting at the table that raised that. And I was proud of myself for not getting riled up because he was kind of fighting the concept. And I basically said, oh, that's interesting. I've never heard of that. And I let him say everything that he needed to share of what he knows. And I just said, wow, that's very interesting. I haven't come across that before. I'm going to check. I'll call CTEC tomorrow, which I'm doing. So to let him feel heard and just left it at that. So
yeah, and that is the best way to handle it. Stay away from confrontation. Be compassionate with them. Understand, and you know what? It probably end up being a customer and probably being a very good customer.
Yeah. Well, actually, later in the dinner, he started talking about all the churches in this area. He's installing LEDs for them. They're investing a lot of money. So he started telling me which churches have money, which churches have a big roof.
Right.
And so he needed to vent and complain about those things, but he actually wasn't saying no.
Right.
He just needed to say those things. So.
Well, Karen Lane and me ran into a guy in Houston when we went down there to help somebody run the show in Houston. I'm sure you've been in solar, I'm sure you've heard of the 900-watt panel. I'm like, no, I hadn't. Who does it? Well, you should know. I said, well, I know I'm on a learning curve. I'm more than happy to learn more, So, tell me about it. I'll look it up, see if it's available. We'll try and get it for you if that's what you want.
Mm-hmm.
Let
me know. The more I know, the more I can help others.
Right. And the point, like you mentioned, Karen, is you weren't trying to come across as someone that know it all and stuff. You're just trying to offer solar to folks to help them understand and the concept. And it's changing in this country. So it's all over the world right now. I mean, you take a look at China, Pakistan, and Amsterdam, these other areas across the world, they're moving so quickly towards solar because they're finding out that in the long run, once it's paid off, your power is free. And it's catching on here in this country. It really is. People are extremely interested in it, whether it may be booming here in Texas or booming up there in Michigan or, over there in Florida where Mike's at and stuff. But it's beginning. And it's a process, like Rob has mentioned, before with the software and stuff like that. Some of y'all keep hanging in there and going, and some people, bless you, Karen.
Thank you. I did mute before, but yeah.
I didn't know what she was doing. I thought she was having a flashback memory.
No, but excuse me.
What you mentioned a good point there of being a know-it-all. Is it when someone comes to our booth or our dinner table and they feel a need to be a know-it-all? It's just let them know it all and ask them questions. Let them talk.
Yeah.
That's kind of what you're saying, Jeremy.
Well,
and
I mean, that's
certainly don't engage with them. Just let them say what they know.
I mean, don't challenge them. Unless 100% certain. But and again, they may know about some cutting edge stuff that nobody else knows about yet. So I just saw something a while ago and reposted it where they collect moisture and it's cold air and it makes like an iceberg, and then during the springtime it starts thawing out and everybody's got fresh water until the rain season starts. I'm like, well, that's pretty cool, new technology, it's pretty smart the way they done it. And I reposted it. But the thing is, you never know what's coming up. Somebody may have something new. But there's an old saying that a friend told me one time, said, if you convince a man against his will, you've convinced him of nothing at all. You've done nothing but waste your time and his.
Uh-huh.
So, but if somebody's got something, if you come across as you know more than they do, it's going to be a challenge. If you're willing to listen and they know you're listening to them, you're going to get further with that than you will do any other. And if you're pretty sure on your end, say, well, that's interesting. Well, I found this out, we can get together and compare notes and find out, work together and see what we can come up with.
Yeah.
It's nothing wrong with trying to, work with them or listen and see what they got to say. But if they've got something, you at least want to look it up and make sure, it's not just what they say, but, get some facts, do a little research and make sure it's actually legit.
Yeah.
And one of the things is it's like when go to the chamber meetings, the after hours and 4 hours stuff that we have here in this town, and Jeremy and I have 1 in 2 weeks we're going to an after hours one. The one thing is, and he knows, he's been with me. I'm not shy. I walk right up to a table and start introducing myself. He's over there laughing already.
Yeah, I'll say disappear for 30 minutes at the show on Sunday.
Going to talk to everybody. But the thing is I introduced myself to them. I do not initiate myself to them on what I do. I inquired to them, what business are you in? What do you do? This and that. And that way I'm concentrating on what they're telling me. So when I walk away, I can remember their names, or I'll see them somewhere and I'll say, hey, how you doing, Jim? You know, how you doing, Krista? And they're like, oh, I remember you. But when you do that, when you first introduce yourself to people like that and not trying to think about what you're going to do, talk to or explain to them, or go into a business and or a homeowner or someone you think might be interested in solar along that lines, and this works with all aspects of business stuff. But when you are truly concerned about who they are, what they do, where they are, what's happening with the homeowners, what's happening with their business, and you're not worried about what you're going to say about yourself, you will retain a lot of information from them.
Right.
And you will remember and be able to talk to them. And then when you start talking, they're very interested, especially with dealing with solar. They're very interested in what you've got to say, because you've taken the time to give them the courtesy to not just jump in and say, oh, I do this, I'm doing this, that. No, what do you do? What, and some of the people I've dealt with at some of these chamber meetings and stuff, I've had some of them, I sat there and talked for half hour, 45 minutes. They told me how many kids they've got. They told me, blah, 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 and stories. And it's really neat, because there's some stuff I've learned from a couple of people interesting, and gave information to my daughter with some of the health issue stuff she's going through. They said, hey, Lane, send her here. We'll deal with her and we'll help her and stuff like that. But it truly lets the people know that you really are concerned and care about them. And they may go out and get other estimates from maybe someone else if they're curious about solar and they decide they possibly want to do it. But when they look back, like Rob has always stated, when you truly show the people that you really care about their business, you care about them, care about their families and how you can help them, they're going to turn around and come back to you. They're like, you know what, that's a one-on-one. It's not just a salesperson pitching me a sale. It's someone that really cares about me and what they can benefit, how they can help us benefit them. And that's great when you can get that point. And like you were mentioning, Karen, when you were talking to him, you let him talk, you let him go through it. Next thing you know, he's talking about the churches and stuff like that. It opens people's up and relaxes them.
Yeah. So I have a question. Jenny and Suzanne, do either of you have any questions tonight?
I filled up one of my notebooks and then I started on the loose leaf. And I honestly think I had some questions and I don't know where the loose leaf.
Well, I had a question, but if you have any questions, I want you to ask. I want to hear what's going on.
Go ahead. Yeah, you go ahead. It'll come to me. I'm going to listen.
Well, so I two things, and I think they'll be relevant for all of us, so they'll be useful. Okay. One, something that I learned when I was in Dallas last week, was just exactly a week ago. I've already shared with Suzanne, is that Lane, I'd heard you mention that in the shows you and Jeremy have done, you're getting maybe 1 out of 10 from people that said that started the process to ultimately going solar. Is that about right?
It wasn't that point. But now that the pricing's come down, it's going to get even better. We're getting ready.
So that was what I initially was working with, and I was thinking, okay, so if I need to talk to 10 people to get one who ultimately installs solar, how much time is it going to be, and how is this going to go? So when I got to Dallas, I asked Gregory Mascari.
Mm-hmm.
That obviously you're very seasoned in something that the rest of us may aspire to, but how does it go for you when you actually sit down at that kitchen table and you pull out your folder with all the pieces that you showed us that you nicely do? What is your conversion of having gotten the actual electric bill, worked up a really good proposal, and sitting with them at their kitchen table? And he said, about 1 in 3.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
which is, ooh, that's a better number.
Right.
You know, and so then I went back and I shared that with Lane, and he said, yeah, that's about what I get. It's like, oh, those are all different numbers. That's so.
But a big part of it depends on region too, because we've had, and Karen, you said you're in Texas, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. See, that's one of the biggest things that we've really ran into, and that's something I told Lane. I said I want to be there, but there's no way I could go and get back that late and get up that early to go to work the next day. But see, places like in the Northeast or out West where the prices are higher, they're giving incentives. You know, hey, you know, it's the pricing works great, but when you come out here, it's kind of neck and neck. They're like,
well, so if coming out here, we can still do 1 and 3. Which Lane says he can do it, and if he can do it, I can learn to do it in 2.
The biggest thing is you having confidence in yourself and not doubting yourself.
Yeah, and so if it's 1 and 3 here, and for Joyce up in New York, it being 1 and 2 or whatever, it's like, oh my goodness. It was very exciting to me. I wanted to share with Jenny and Suzanne and whoever else might listen to this.
Yeah.
That to get people in the pipeline, to get them through, and to actually get not just the estimate of their bill, but an actual bill, and really work on it. Anyway, I found that fabulous. So.
Yeah.
I'd spoke with someone and they'd gotten back with me, you know, I'd give them a rough estimate, you know, and I said, well, you know, you're looking at about this price. Without the panels, you're looking about this price. I mean, without the battery backup, you're looking about this price, you know. So you're really looking at maybe within $10 what you pay now. If you want the battery backup, you're about another $40 than what you pay now. So that's really give you something. And he sends me back, well, I'd like to get some exact figures. I said, I'll be happy to do it. I just need to know how much power you consume. That way they can fine tune it. Right. You know, and right now he's getting his stuff together. But see, I was able to give him that information, and now I'm just waiting on him to get his stuff together. The only drawback is he may be waiting until his next electric bill comes in before he sends it to me.
Yeah, unless he has it sitting around. Yeah.
Yeah,
well, that's what I was thinking too, to give them enough of a taste to engage them and see does what we give them as a preliminary seem promising enough that they want to get the bill.
And that's why I've led, and Lane and me have discussed this, because it should be about the same or less, but pricing has kind of been cattywamped around here. So, you know, usually it's about what you pay now, give or take. You know, it's going to be in that realm, you know, so it could be $10 less, $10 more, but we don't know. We need to do a proposal for you to get that. But then when you go from it might be a little more, it might be a little less, then they're coming into the proposal idea of, hey, I might be paying a little more, but I'm getting solar.
Right. They get something.
So they're like, well, it's more than I pay now. I'm not doing it. You know, that's why I told.
Not if you taught them right, you know.
Yeah. Well, that's where I told my people in Alabama. I say, you know, it could be a little more, it could be a little less. You know, we don't know. It depends on how much you use. So.
Right. Well, then similar question to that. I was on the phone today. I had a microwave that had been recalled, so I was talking to someone in South Carolina, working through how to get me a refund. So we had schmoozed enough. I'd connected nice. We had laughed. And so I just shared with her that made a nice, just a comment about helping people build solar so that they put solar panels on the roof so they get their energy from the sunshine instead of the electric company, and that years ago it was too expensive, but now it's a good deal. Oh, we had just talked about cell phones and how they used to be so big and clunky, and now everybody has them. So that was a good segue. It's a good segue. I said, well, now it used to be, now it's good. And so anyway, so we started the conversation, and she said, well, so is it good? Well, how good is it? You know, like, is it really a good deal now? And I said, well, I don't know. Give me your address. I'll check, you know. So while she was doing other stuff, and she readily, all I said was, give me your address. And so they did. You don't have to be polite, not, you know, whatever. You can just say, give me your address. She did. So I got the number, and I learned two things. One is South Carolina is another one of the awesome states.
Really?
I think so, yes.
And I wasn't aware of that. So that's good to know if you know anyone there. And actually, so I asked Jeremy and Lane both, or anybody else that has an idea of how to phrase things when you have very limited time and we were only there because she was getting me a refund for my microwave.
That's awesome.
So the thing was that her deal would be so good that, and ultimately I think I told her too much, because it was one of the things where over 30 years, and of course I didn't know what her estimated use was, over 30 years, her electric bill is going to cost $130,000.
Should she be saving?
No. The investment, over 30 years, if she stays with the electric company, it'll cost $130,000. And so her system was going to cost her $25,000 after all the stuff, all the benefits she'd get. So she was going to save $100,000.
Wow.
And it sounds too good to be true, even though we know it is. It's like in the moment on the phone, I wish I had said, wow, this looks promising. So from what I see here, looks like it would work well for your house. I know you're at work. If you want, let's talk later. She had my email address. She had my phone number. And so I never should have said over 30 years, it would cost $140,000. Your system only costs $30,000, so you're saving $110,000. It was like way too much detail. So how might either of you or Jenny or Dan respond in a situation? What's a generic way you could use that call? Because she was interested.
So are you saying that she's not going to call you back after you shared that?
She hasn't. I mean, it's only been a couple of hours. That's fine. She hasn't called back immediately. But when I said that, I could feel her pull back on the phone. Like I had gone salesy.
Oh.
Didn't really know me. And it's like, I think I just threw up on her, as we say.
Oh, yeah.
So I was wishing I had been more generic and saying, from what I'm seeing, it looks very promising. You have my email, you have my phone number. Give me a call and I'll show you what I'm talking about. You see what I'm saying?
Well, that's always a fine line, right? You never know, because some people that would draw them in, and others are like, oh, wait. So you just don't know. I don't think you really know.
Okay.
Well, see, here's one thing that kind of helps to bear in mind. They are in business, like they're on the line. They got their job to do. They got to get to that, but they're interested in this. But yet at the same time, they can't spend too much time on the phone with their boss standing over their shoulder,
Yeah, talking about whatever's, yeah.
Right. So, but the thing is, say, hey, look, let me get your address and tell me about how much you pay, and just give me an email address, and I'll work something up, and I'll email you just a rough estimate based on your price and your address, about your average.
Okay. Well, thank you.
That way you can just simply say, I can email it to you. Give me a little time to tweak with it and see what I can do for you. That way you're not keeping it long, and it's quick and simple.
Well, thank you. I got her address. I never even thought of saying So I'll work that up. But how to smoothly, without being pushy, just ask for an email and I'll show you what I mean.
Yeah, I mean, that's just kind of quick and easy, especially, just say, hey, give me your address and I can check for shading issues, about how much you pay per month and who your utility provider is, email address, and I'll email you a rough estimate.
Did you figure it up for her already? While she was on the phone.
I went on to GeoStellar, and that's where I got the numbers.
Right. Okay.
Boom.
Okay. Boom. Right here.
And I'm saying, my guts.
Did it on 12 years, right? Was it a 12-year loan?
Yeah, I changed it to a 12-year. Yeah. Okay.
Change it to 12 years. Say, well, hey, Vicki, look, you know what? I've ran a real quick one. We're on the phone here. I know you're busy. You're trying to help me. I appreciate it. I've come back with a 12 years. Your payments are going to be such and such for solar right now. And I'm not sure what and one of the good things is to ask them what their average is, their monthly average. That's the way you can input it in right there. But the thing is after you get it, you get the 12 months or the 12 years, you get their payments. You say, hey, look, it looks like we can get you in. We can get the solar panels on. Looks like we're going to get you at 102%. Your payment's going to be $125, and you told me your average is 130. And guess what? In 12 years, you're not going to have a payment.
Okay. Okay. Well, cool. Actually, so what you're doing? If I was meeting with somebody and they actually said they were interested in solar, I would go into that level of detail. What I was thinking actually to have said even less than I did. In that She was working at Samsung and she was busy doing something. She didn't say, please give me a proposal and whatever. And so this is somebody who's very distracted, didn't ask me for this, so I guess we'll all have to play it by ear in each situation.
Right.
That I needed to give her actually very little. And you're right, Jeremy, I could have asked her. She gave me her address. She said, well, one of them is, and she gave me that address.
Yeah, so, I mean, the thing is,
when they're at work doing something else, and you're right, Jeremy, somebody over her shoulder, whatever.
Yeah, well, I mean, I'll give an example. Today, I'm sitting there working in the heat. It's 101 heat index, and everybody, it seems like when you get hot, you get tired, you get cranky, and some of the people I work with, these guys get stupid when they get hot. I'm sorry.
Okay, yeah.
Not insulting anybody. I mean, just beyond stupid. And I'm like, look, y'all, come on, let's think. And, here we turn around, we're all tired, hot, and sweating, and here's our boss has been sitting in a truck with air conditioning. Like, why did you do that? I'm like, we're hot, we're not thinking straight, we're dehydrated, come on. So, I've had times somebody that we're contracted with is asking me a question, and I'm answering back, and I'm like, I'm covering our company, making us look good, covering their concerns, so, to bear in mind, there might be somebody looking over their shoulder. If they're on the phone, you don't know who's behind them. So, but, that's like the sheet that Lana may have talked about before to show, if you can just get as much as you can, but at least their address. And I always emphasize so we can see if there's shading issues. Why do you need my address?
That's a good phrase. So at the shows, I've seen there's a form that Gregory Mascari made up, maybe you guys have your own, of collecting their information. When they walk away, do you give them anything of what your proposal was? Do you just tell them, or do you give them actually anything?
Well, I'm going to say my work for Gregory up there, but here we have to do some tinkering.
If I come to your booth and I say, wow, this looks interesting, and I give you my address and I say, let's talk later, when I leave, do I get anything in my hand from you about my house?
We normally don't do that because we're usually so swamped. What we usually do is leave a flyer and a card, say, look, you can go check our site out, give us a day or two and we'll get back with you.
They fill out the customer sheet with name, address, phone number, email, utility, and average monthly bill.
Okay, cool. So you collect information.
Yes.
And even though you say, based on this estimate, as an average, your house would be blah, 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 you don't give that to them. You just say it.
Right. Jeremy's got the sheet right there that we put together.
This is kind of what we just simply have, name, address.
That's fine. My question
it's just that simple stuff.
My question was simply, do you only collect or do you give back? And I think your answer was no, you don't give them anything.
Well, we don't. See, Gregory and them might be able to, if where
Gregory didn't have anything. I was just asking you what you do.
No. I was saying, for example, some of GeoStellar's software might work in those locations, and you can put in the address and get instantly.
Which I thought y'all were going for, even though it didn't work right yet.
Right, and that's what I'm saying. We were running into the situation where if we could put in their address and get an instant proposal, yeah, we'd give them, if we had time, we'd be giving it to them there, leaving them in their hands, That's what I was getting at, not comparing to Gregory. I'm just saying, depending on location,
what we were having to do, Karen, and we were having to go in and we have to on-check the 15,000.
I remember the issues, yeah.
We were having to do that. Now, if we had time and somebody was there, and it was quiet, and they wanted it, we had a printer there. We could print them out something. We could get it together for them.
Well, just like the first page, though, of the preliminary one, because you don't have anything yet. Okay.
Right, exactly. But, I mean, we could print it out if they wanted. And the number one objective, like you're talking about, like you're talking to someone on the phone, that you're limited on time and stuff like that, is you get them to 12 years, you give them their what their monthly payment would be for it, and in 12 years, you're not going to have that bill anymore. Depending on what you get them at 100%, okay. They might still have some utility. They might have a net metering. But then you say, pretty interesting, isn't it? And you just shut it down, and wait for them. Yeah, and wait for them.
So Lane, are you saying, so once you collect the information, because like we're doing an event this Saturday, Sherry Good's going to come up and help me here in Orlando. It's an outdoor event, so we don't have electricity, but our thought was that we were going to have our iPads, and we were going to try to do the instant proposal right as they came up. If they, like you said, if we had the time, and then email that to them and let them know, listen, this is great information. I can email it to you right now. And if you don't mind, I'm going to follow up with a phone call and we can walk through it or something. Yeah. Or is that what you do now, basically, when you go back with your information?
Yeah, yes. And that's why, let me let you know something, Susan. It's so important to have that customer sheet there, because Jeremy and I have been so busy at some of these shows that people were coming up and going through the show. Sometimes they don't want to stand and wait and stuff.
Yeah.
So what they'll do is they'll just grab a clip. We'll have 4 or 5 clipboards out there with the information. And some customers were just grabbing it and filling it out and saying, I've got this right here. And we're like, okay, thank you. And we'll grab it and we just set it behind us.
Wow.
And they walk off because they're trying to go through the show or look at other stuff. But if you have information out there, they can give you, and they sit and listen to you for a few minutes and realize you're punching in someone's address, and they want information, but they don't have time, they will fill out that sheet and leave it with you.
No kidding. Okay.
Yes.
All right, cool.
I have a question. Okay, so say I love the idea of having the clipboards because I've been to enough shows to know, people want to get through it and see all the booths and stuff. Say they fill that out and they're like, hey, they acknowledge you and they're interested. Do you have something that you can give them so they remember who you are? Is it the business card, or do you have like a flyer that they can take with them and go, okay, I got to follow up on this?
Yeah, that flyer. Don't you have that one that I sent you, the colored one?
Yeah.
That's what we have. We have them out there on the table too.
And then they can just take that with them.
They'll grab a flyer. We have our thing for our business cards. They'll grab a business card. Go ahead.
So then, like, if they're in a hurry and then they have filled out that information on the clipboard, and they're like, okay, they've got your email information and contact information there. So then when you follow up with the information that they sent you and send them the instant proposal, they'll be like, oh, okay, I recognize this person.
Right. And another good thing to do, what I do sometimes, is usually if they filled out the customer sheet and it's a phone number, it might be a home phone number, it might be a cell number, you can put on there. One thing we might add, Jeremy, I thought about this too, is putting whether it's a mobile or a home phone, because if it's a mobile phone, you can text them and say, hi, this is Lane Johnson. Hey, I met you at the show this week. You filled out a customer sheet. I just want to let you know I've sent you an email for the sheet that you filled out, and look for this email, etechsolar, at outlook.com, and you can text it to them. Awesome. And they'll get this text and they'll go, who's this from? And they'll go, oh, yeah, okay. Well, then when they go in to check their emails, if they don't have it, they might reach out and contact you, or they might go and look in their junk or spam folders.
And then how long do you wait to follow up with a phone call after you send them that initial proposal or estimate?
The email, usually you can give them 24 hours. So they might not have gotten it right, gone in and looked at it or something like that with the text. A lot of times they'll text you right back.
Okay.
And you can say, hey, go ahead and look through this. Tell you what, I will give you a call tomorrow at a convenient time. What would be convenient for you? And I can answer any questions that you have on this.
Okay.
And usually they'll text you right back. And I know Jeremy's ran across this too.
I'm going to give y'all one big, massive tip.
What?
Look at it and make sure you can read the writing.
Before they walk away.
Right.
Before they walk away, say, let me make sure I got this right. And, because I had one lady's number and I saw it and I glanced at it, okay, and I had like 4 other people at the table. I'm like trying to talk to 4 different people. And they're filling out the information and trying to answer their question and hand it to me. Okay, and everything looks good. And I was like, I'm like, what's that? Is that ALL or ALI? Or, I'm like, what the? So I had to text this lady back and say, look, I've got an estimate for you, but I can't I'm having a little trouble understanding your email address. Could you text back your email address to me? But if you can, you know, if you can take a second, just make sure you read it and just ask them, say, look, sometimes I'm scatterbrained and I just want to make sure I got this right so I can get in touch with you.
And sometimes it's hard because you're sitting there talking with people to converse to them. We've had people, honestly, I came around the corner on one of the shows up there in Texarkana. I come around the corner. I mean, there was no one at the booth when I left. I went to get, I think, a Pepsi or something like that. I come back around the corner, and I kid you not, there's 15, 20 people standing there.
Really?
And he's talking, and he's like, and he looked at me like, help!
Like, hey, help!
And I ran right up, put the Coke down, turned around, said, all right, who can I help? You know, and they're like, oh, and there was people standing there filling out stuff, had flyers in their hands and everything. So, you know, it's, and like Jeremy said, if you get a chance, if somebody fills one out and say, well, I'm just grabbing a flyer and I got you this and I'll hand you the thing, you can look at it quickly. Even if you're talking with someone, say, excuse me a second, look at it and say, okay, got you, you know, and they can move on. And then you go back to who you're talking to.
So if you get this many again, what is your process? So you go ahead and email that estimate. In about 24 hours, you give them a call. Do you have like a contact database? I saw that in this new system, they actually are kind of set one up for us, or at least the beginning of one. Is there like, and then do you give it like 2 days if they don't call you back? Do you re-email? What is your kind of process that you've seen to be successful?
On the aspect of getting the proposal, getting an email to them, right away, I will, if it's a mobile, I will text them right away.
Mm-hmm.
Let them know I've sent the email. And say, you know, when you get a chance, you can look at it. You may contact me anytime. If not, I would like to get with you sometime tomorrow at your convenience. And a lot of times they'll text you back and say, I'll go in and I'll look at it later. I don't have a chance today or something, you know, or tonight. They say, I'll look at it tomorrow morning or something like that. And they'll usually will get back to you because they're going to remember you. And after that, if I don't hear from them, say I've texted them and sent the stuff and I know the number's right, I know it's mobile and they've got the text. If they haven't texted back, then the next day I will contact them back. You know, I will give them a call then, not just a text. I will actually call them along that line. But you try and give them a chance. But like I said, most of the time, people are going to they're going to text you right back. Especially when you say, hi, this is so-and-so. So, you know, is at the home show. You stop by our booth. This is the, you know, E-Tech Solar and stuff like that. And believe me, right, usually they are going to text you right back and say, oh, yeah, great. I'll look at my email for that and say, look, if you have any questions, you can call me back tonight. We can set it up for convenience if it's for you tomorrow. And you just say, hey, you know what? Let me look at it tonight. And you know what? Yeah, I'd like to get back with you tomorrow. I'll be free about 2 o'clock, you know, or after work, after 5. And then a lot of times we've had them happen where they've looked at it and they've gotten back, text you that night, said, hey, I got a question. Are you free now? Yeah, give me a call.
Oh, my gosh. Well, that would be nice.
Yeah. It does happen, though, you know, and it will happen, you know. And it's, I'm telling you what, if you're at a show like what Karen was asking me, you've got to have 2 people.
Yeah. Tomorrow, this weekend is just a 1-day event, and it's outside downtown at Lake Eola. But then we're going to do the Tampa Bay Home Show. That's a 3-day event.
Oh man, that's
so there's going to be 2 of us. So if anybody wants to come help,
I'm in. Sorry, I'm in Texas right now. I wouldn't mind though. I have family over in Clearwater.
Oh yeah.
I got family in Tampa. Tarpon Springs.
Well, Mr. Michael's on here. He's over there in Florida.
That's right.
Yeah. Hey, I'll tell y'all this too, though, on the show, like Lane said, 2, if y'all get maybe 3, unless you just got a really, really like 2 or 3 booths, you really don't want to really go more than 3. If you're going to be more than that, y'all want to rotate, take shifts. Because when we were in Houston, there were like 5 or 6 of us, and it scared the people off. You know, it scared a few people because it was too much.
Yeah.
So, you know, you want to have enough people that you can take care of more than one, you know, 2 to 3 people, you're okay.
Yeah.
But once you start getting past that,
it could feel intimidating.
Yeah, they get intimidated.
And when we were in Houston, we were dealing with dividends, so it was a lot more difficult to put in stuff. I actually was sitting at a back table with 2 other people, and 2 people be sitting up front talking with customers, getting information, going in, and I was showing the people how to input the stuff and change it, because that's one where you actually had to design the system, the amount of panels, figure out that. And it was more complicated. Where with the software that is here now, like Susan, you guys would be great with the tablets and punch them in, the iPads,
Yeah.
It's so, and even on this, folks, right here, sorry, even on that little thing right there, you can even do it on your cell phone. And if you have an Android.
Is that an iPhone?
No.
Is that an iPhone or an Android?
No, it's an Android. But what you do is you go to your web browser. Sorry about that.
Yeah.
Bring up your web browser, type in your geostellar.com, your pro site, sign in. Or you don't have to sign in so it doesn't go to anybody, but you can type it in. If they have them fill out a sheet, but you can type in their address real quick and bring it up, and then you'll be able to turn around and say, hey, look, this is what we're getting for you right now.
I hear that theory. I wish I had thought to ask that when I saw you last week, because I have an Android. I've gone to GeoStellar/pros,
Yeah.
And it's just like, it's too small. You can't find it. You can't really click on the roof, and you can't see any. So for me, I thought maybe
tablet.
It was.
For that, tablet is easier or laptop.
Another thing that helps, Karen, is take your phone and turn it sideways. And that way you can.
Thank you. I did all of that. It didn't work. You're right. I know going landscape can be good.
Right. And that's why getting the customer information, that's why when we work the shows, we actually have laptops there and we have tablets and stuff like that.
Yeah.
It does work better. It seems to work better. And, like I said, I have not done it on an Apple. I haven't done it on an iPad. I haven't done it on an iPhone. I'm not sure how the app that they have.
Well, it's supposed to be better if you have the app.
Yeah.
So, actually, I have one more question, and I want to acknowledge we're getting to 45 minutes. So, if y'all have to go, you have.
Yeah, I've got to run. I was watching it.
Just in the sequence we were just speaking out of is having them with the show, and then sending them, once you've put in their address, the instant estimate, even though it doesn't have their actual bill yet, and you're emailing that to them. Is my brain is kind of going tilt here in terms of how Gregory has presented how he would sit at somebody's house, or Rob Styler did it for us when he was doing Jomo's aunt, where he was walking the person through the proposal versus saying, here's an email, potential customer, read it and tell me if you have questions. They seem like very different ways of presenting the information. And I was thinking maybe it's better if we directly take them through it, but obviously you've chosen to send it. So would you speak to that?
What it is like, you can send it to them and say, I would like you to look, I think it's I believe it's page 5.
Mm-hmm.
So, you can look at the top and then all the solar, but page 5 has your price, what it's going to cost, and this and that. And of course, I like to get with them. Say, look, I'd love to get on the phone with you and help walk you through it if you have time. If not, I've emailed it to you to go through. It depends on the situation with the person. And if they say, oh, yeah, I'd like to get up and say, look, you have questions, I would love to get on the phone with you. I'd love to walk you through it, explain everything to you. And you have the availability to do that. And it's not, like I said, that I'm just sending it out and just leaving it in their hands. I don't want to do that. But sometimes people don't want to do it yet until they get in there looking at it. But one of the good things is say, look, I believe it's page 5, the one that has the pie chart, and it has all the pricing and the costs and the incentives and everything. That's the page that's most important to them, because you look down to the right, lower right there, it'll say, look, after 12 years, it's free. And that's what's important to get across to them along that manner.
Here's another option. If you've gone through and gotten a lot of these and you've sent it and let them know, hey, this is just a rough estimate. I'd need a copy of your electric bill to get you exact, but, I'd be happy to answer any questions. Or the fact that everybody's on here, you've all got the Zoom app downloaded apparently, or hooked up with your phone or whatever. You can easily do it. I've told Jenny about it. I've told others about it. The thing is, you can say, look, if you'd like, I can go through step by step, you're 2 hours from me. I met you at the show. Hey, let's set up a time. I'll send you an email link to you can create a Zoom account. It's free for 45 minutes, you know, and you can turn around and say, hey, look, let me send a thing to you. And you can see my screen, and I'll share it, and I'll walk you step by step through it. And that way, if you're not physically able to be there with them at the table, like some of them are able to, you can turn around and use this tool.
That's good.
So, but the other thing, if you're going to be at a show, do like Laney did. Try it out. Run some tests. Make sure it's going to work. And if it's working great, and Jenny, you may be able to say, hey, look, I sent you a text. Hey, I've got it at the table here. If you want to swing back around, we'll show it to you.
Yeah. Well, that's nice. You can really set the stage.
Right.
When they get the email that they know you're there and waiting and available, and that they should go to page 5 and what the questions are and to accrue their questions. Great.
You know, and what Laney May had to do at about every single one of the shows, slide your table back about 2 feet.
What?
Because you're going to congest the aisleways.
Oh, so the people can come in.
The table,
we moved
the table back.
Wow.
From where most people have it right out on the line, scoot your table back, because sometimes you're going to have 4 or 5 people lined up there and other people right behind them. But if people are backed up into the aisle right there, some people may not stop or stuff. But if you've got it to where they can scoot in and other people, and you can get people behind, you can double up on the amount of people that are actually standing there.
That's like putting a sale rack in the back of the retail store. And I know that because I was in retail.
Well, it means that somebody walks by and they'll see standing room only. It's like, what's going on in that booth? I'm going in. So
that has happened several times. That's when Lane went and he got his Coke or whatever, and he came back. I'm like, hey, get over
here. You offer them any little like snack or something to drink, because that always draws people. They're like,
a lot of people, a lot of them,
candy.
Wait,
there's Jeremy's pizza.
Right here. Right here's what Jeremy we were giving out. We were giving out for the kids.
I love it.
And then look around. He's going to spin it around. Hey,
hold on a second. We did that.
In the dark.
Glow in the dark.
And then etechsolarhomes.com. We were giving those to the kids. Yeah, we were giving those to the kids, and you're giving these to the adults, keychains.
Because people want to have something with the name on it they take with them, and then they'll always see it.
Yeah. And another thing, a lot of these shows you'll go in, and sometimes a lot of people had candy for the kids, you know, little bowls of candy, bottles of water. Some of them had bottles of water people could grab and stuff like that. But usually I didn't want to do the water and stuff like that, because that takes from the vendors out there, some of the vendors that are selling stuff. But like the candy and stuff like that for the kids, some of the kids, because you know, if a kid gets fussy and someone's standing there watching and listening to you once in, the kid's like, hey, I want that. Here, have this Tootsie Roll, have this, you know, little piece of Hershey Kiss or something. Yeah.
Well, see, the other thing is, you know, like I said, we went with this, you know, we looked it up and we ran it. You know, you can probably get it cheaper. We just kind of had to do it last minute. But, you know, like the little glow-in-the-dark kid-sized bracelet, you know, think about it. Somebody went to the show and the kid turns around, you know, hey, you know, well, what'd you get out there? You know, I got a fly swatter. I got a fan. I got a glow-in-the-dark bracelet. What's that say?
Oh,
you know.
By the way, Jeremy, I need another one. I gave mine away at the one of the, I don't know, the chamber things. I need some more. I gave out.
Was it? I don't know who it was. Somebody in Crew said that they had a gift basket, and you put your name on a little piece of paper and stick it in a box, and then to see who gets to win the freebie thing, right? And then you can put you know, like an LED light in there, and maybe a sample of Crew water, and you know, any other ideas to add?
No.
I mean, you know, things like that are you know, it's great. You know, just about anything like that. You know, we've had people come up and thought they were signing up for a drawing, and they were giving us their information for us to give them a solar quote, and they're thinking they're applying for a gift or door prize. I'm like, well, no, this is not a door prize. This is for solar for your home.
Hmm.
Oh, well, I'm in an apartment.
Oh.
We could have saved you a lot of trouble if you'd asked. But yeah, I mean, you know,
until community.
we do community solar too. So, you know, but I mean, the thing is, when the customers see that you're actually caring about them, you know, something, you know, even if it's now, if Florida and if you're outside, I don't really recommend chocolate that much.
I was going to say, maybe not down there in Florida, maybe some suckers or something, or maybe even little bottles of water. I don't know.
Hershey's Kisses.
Hard candy, not chocolate. So yeah.
Yeah. There you go. Yeah.
Some hard candy or something, you know. So, but like I said, you know, that's the kind of stuff, you know, if you do that, you don't have to do that. But I mean, for us, you know, it was funny because there was a lady came by, had two little girls, and she stood way back, and she's eyeballing the little bracelets we had on the table, and stood back. Well, go ask him. I said, would you like a bracelet? Uh-huh. I said, well, here you go. But the thing is, her mother was teaching her to ask, not take. So, you know, and I'm like, ma'am, I have a lot of respect for that, you know. But then again, I had to turn around people. I had people grabbing handfuls. They're like, okay, we're only sitting about 3 or 4 on the table because, man, one person going to grab about 15. I'm like, hey, wait a minute now. You know, you at least need to buy some solar panels. You're going to take all my, you know, little gift trinkets. So, you know.
All right, y'all got any more questions? I really need to shut it down.
Yep. Thank you.
Thank you. Great to connect with you guys.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. Hey, Susan, best of luck over there. If you have any questions during the day, if you guys have any questions, you're welcome to give me a holler. I'll be free. I'll be mowing my yard Saturday and stuff, so I might need a break to sit in the shade.
Thanks. No, Jenny had to help me out at one event.
Yeah. That's
All right.
great.
Thank you.
That's great. But and y'all know if you need anything, you can always holler out at me.
All right.
And Jeremy. But y'all, thanks. Have a good evening. I'm gonna run and drop some stuff off.
Thank y'all.
And Karen,
my wife told me to tell you hi.
Hi.
Tell her we said hi.
And Karen, it was very nice to meet you in person last Thursday. I really enjoyed it.
Yeah.
What'd you think of Rob?
Just fat. You know, I'd already enjoyed his. To watch him do a presentation live was just another depth of grasping his passion and what he does.
Right.
And it was good.
Okay, so you felt his heart. Was he barefoot? I'm just kidding.
No, he was not barefoot.
I'm just teasing.
He was over in
Austin.
Yeah.
Austin.
Yeah, that's good. Yeah.
We're
I'm so close to Austin. It's like y'all came right before I learned to crew. So whatever. All in due time.
Wait till y'all come out this way.
Yeah.
I don't want to come in the summer. I like the winter.
Oh, I don't blame you.
It's too hot.
Winter? Are you nuts?
What do you think? Everybody, I got to go. I'll talk to you later.
Right.